Hi, I'm Shannon, owner of Pahrump Early Learning Academy, where we are more than just childcare.
Hi, I'm Monique Mitchell with KPVM Television. My children attend Pella and they love it. The curriculum they have is pretty amazing, and my children learn what they need at their level.
Not only are the children learning, they're having fun, and that's what matters.
I like Pella. They help you with your homework, and it's fun.
Give us a call today to tour our facility at 751-5335.
News 46 is brought to you by Comfort Hospice Care, where we give our patients and their loved ones peace of mind, knowing we provide the highest quality of care 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. For more information, call 751-0349.
Tonight on News 46, 2 businesses are robbed on Highway 372. Several structures are destroyed in Shoshone, and Rotary gives away $10,000. News 46 starts now.
You're watching KPVM News 46 with Deanna O'Donnell. News 46, local coverage you can count on.
Good evening. It's Monday, October 13th, 2014. I'm Deanna O'Donnell for News 46. Kentucky Fried Chicken on Highway 372 was robbed at gunpoint last night around 10 p.m.
The Nye County Sheriff's Office is investigating the robbery of Kentucky Fried Chicken on Highway 372 last night. Nye County Sheriff's Office dispatch received a call from KFC stating that they had just been robbed at gunpoint with 2 men who were apparently using their shirts to cover their faces. Deputies arrived on scene. However, the vehicle that the suspects were driving apparently traveled westbound on Highway 372 and then headed down Pahrump Valley Boulevard. Nye County Sheriff's deputies do have some great leads in this case, including that one of the robbers apparently said the other one's name while the robbery was being committed. An undisclosed amount of money was taken at the time of the robbery. Nobody was injured as a result. No other details have been released at this time. If you have any information, you're urged to contact the Nye County Sheriff's Office at 751-7000, and you can remain anonymous. This is Deanna O'Donnell for News 46.
And Horizon Market was also robbed last night by one person who left on foot.
Shortly after the robbery at gunpoint at KFC on Highway 372, just down the street, another robbery occurred at the Horizon Market on Highway 372 and Bowling Street. Apparently, one suspect entered into the Horizon Market with a bandana on his face. He demanded money from the clerk and seemed to have known where the clerk kept the money. Nye County Sheriff's deputies did find the actual bandana that the suspect was wearing at the time that this robbery occurred. They brought out search dogs on Bowling Street. There is no further updates from the Nye County Sheriff's Office at this time. If you have any information, you're urged to contact them at 751-7000. This is Deanna O'Donnell for News 46.
And police are still seeking information regarding a recent robbery at the Bella Vista Horizon Market. The man who robbed that store on October 3rd left on foot northbound from the store after robbing it at gunpoint with a 20-gauge shotgun. The man is described as approximately 5 foot 10 inches tall with a medium build. He wore a gray sweatshirt with black going down the sleeves and around the pockets. His pants were black and he wore white with black tennis shoes. If you have any information, please call the Nye County Sheriff's Office at 751-7000, and of course you can remain anonymous. When we come back from this break, your Desert View Hospital Health Tip.
This portion of the news is brought to you by Inspiration Senior Living, where we provide affordable elegance to Pahrump area seniors. Give us a call at 751-2300 and make an appointment to tour our community.
Welcome back to News 46. Standard digital mammography plays a key role in detecting breast cancer. However, mammography has also come under some criticism because of the false positive results it can produce, along with unnecessary biopsies and overdiagnosis of cancer. A new study examined whether adding 3-dimensional technology to the standard digital mammogram could help improve outcomes.
This health tip is brought to you by
Desert View Hospital and Mountain Valley Physicians Group. Don't put your health on hold. We have time for you. Call us to schedule your appointment. 775-751-7100.
Jennifer Heft is no stranger to breast cancer. Her mom and younger sister were diagnosed and successfully fought the disease.
When it actually happens to you, it's a little different. Scarier, definitely scarier.
Jennifer received her diagnosis last March.
It was a very small tumor. It was only an 8-millimeter tumor that couldn't be felt.
But it was detected after she underwent a 3D mammogram.
3D mammography was FDA approved about 3 years ago. And so it's been used in practice across the country. We looked to see whether it improved upon some of the limitations that the standard 2D mammogram has been criticized for.
Dr. Sarah Friedewald from Advocate Lutheran General Hospital and co-authors examined 2 and 3D mammograms from more than 450,000 patients at 13 sites across the country.
We found invasive cancers, or the cancers that we worry about, the ones that could potentially kill people, more frequently in women who had the 3D mammogram versus the women who just had the 2D mammogram. At the same time, fewer people had to come back for unnecessary testing, and which creates unnecessary anxiety.
Watch what appears as Dr. Friedewald examines this standard 2D mammogram and then views the same image in 3D.
A mass that has irregular borders in the upper part of the breast, and this is very much typical of what a cancer looks like, hidden on the 2D mammogram, but very well seen on the 3D mammogram.
I truly, truly believe that the 3D mammography is what caught my cancer early and is allowing me to pretty much live my life the way I want to.
Which includes spending more time with her family, driving a race car, and something she's already done, riding in a hot air balloon.
Life is short. My life's going to be long and full, and I'm going to go out and do the things I want to.
Catherine Dolph, The JAMA Report.
Thanks so much, Catherine. Further studies are needed to determine which patient populations can benefit most from 3D technology. Fire Chief Scott Lewis spoke to News 46 today regarding a multi-structure and brush fire that occurred in Shoshone yesterday afternoon.
Around 12:45 USA, we were dispatched for a mutual aid assignment for a large structure fire in Shoshone. Initial reports were that the fire had grown in intensity due to the high winds and that it actually would force the evacuation of the town of Shoshone. They requested a full structure response from Pahrump. We responded out there, and upon arrival, we found that, in fact, they did have several structures that were well involved in fire. But more importantly, they had down power lines, they had a venting propane tank, they had spot development, spot fires in the brush area, which were quickly becoming a large brush fire. There was 40-plus mile-an-hour winds, so everything was in a pretty precarious situation. We did, in fact, find the majority of the town had been evacuated. The main highways were controlled by CHP and also their local deputies. Met with the INYO representatives. The resources were overwhelmed considering the fire conditions. And so they've asked me to establish command, which I did. And I have to give kudos to Nye County Dispatch and Tyler Weldon, the supervisor, because he was my main point of contact due to our limited communications in that particular area. We didn't have cell service. So we relied solely for every aspect of that going back to Nye County Dispatch, and it just did an awesome job for us. But established command requested additional resources both from Nevada and from California. Our main consideration was to control the structure fires, cool down that venting propane tank, keep a safe area around from all the electrical that was involved in this, and then to address the growing brush fire. So we requested brush assignment from California. Their BLM team responded. They brought in Death Valley Engine Company. There was just a number of resources from, I believe, Baker and San Bernardino, additional resources from within the southern Inyo area, including their sheriff was even there.
I heard you saying that it was propane fueled when you were on scene there, so that was actually really adding to the intensity of this fire.
We had, at one point, we had a venting propane tank that was shooting approximately a 20-foot vertical flame. And so that was an immediate concern, cool that tank down. We didn't want to have an explosion occur. And so there was a number of things. We were also dealing, as I mentioned, with down power lines, compromised utility poles. Very dynamic scene.
They have some historic buildings there. Were they involved at all?
Not to my understanding. I don't believe any of the structures would have any historical value. All of those were protected. And I have to tell you, there's so many different agencies, but specifically for our area, Amargosa came in and did a great job. We had Nye County 51 came in and assisted us with the brush aspects, with the Type 6 brush truck and a tender, did a great job. So real good collaborative effort from Nevada that went into California and really took care of this fire.
Good job to all those involved. The Coalition for the Protection of Marriage filed documents today claiming bias by the 3-judge panel that last week invalidated a 2002 Nevada state constitutional amendment prohibiting gay marriage. County clerks in Nevada began issuing marriage licenses to same-sex couples on Friday. By this afternoon, more than 140 same-sex couples had obtained marriage licenses at the busy County Clerk Bureau in Las Vegas. A new Vatican report says the church should welcome and appreciate gays and offers a solution for divorced and remarried Catholics who want to receive communion. The newly proposed language on gays and civil marriages represents what they are calling a pastoral earthquake. The Reverend James Martin, an author and Jesuit priest, called the report's language on gays and lesbians revolutionary. The new 2 Nye County Sheriff's candidates debated for the first time at the VFW Post on Homestead Road last week.
And I understand at the end of my opponent's lecture or speaking, he mentioned the fact that it wouldn't take him 100 days to do that. Well, it's going to take me 100 days because I don't want to try to fix something that isn't broken. And there's a lot of places in the sheriff's office that are not broken. They're working just fine. But the administration isn't one of them.
I haven't missed any debates, nor have I missed any of the meet and greets. I managed to make it to them because you, the voters, are important and you want to hear what the candidates have to say. And I don't need 100 days.
Recently you spoke to Search and Rescue, and I'd like to thank you for that. However, when you did speak, you said that you played reserve deputy for a number of years. I personally was highly offended by that remark. I have family members, dear friends that were killed in the line of duty. These peace officers put their lives at stake for us on a daily basis. So my question to you is, do you think that being a sheriff is some type of game?
No, I don't think it's a game. And when I said playing, you've got to remember that I put my life on the line just like everybody else did. Playing is an odd way to put it, but when you have been in emergency services, when you are a police officer, you get a little cynical at times. And I'm sorry the cynicism came to the front. I have been a dedicated officer since 1975, and off and on before that, when I was brought into the fray by other folks.
Recently, the Veterans Administration has made various administrative decisions which bypass the due process clause of the 14th Amendment and effectively deny some military veterans their Second Amendment rights through nothing more than a clerical process. As sheriff, if you were instructed by the Veterans Administration to confiscate the privately owned guns of a military veteran because of one of their administration policies, would you make those confiscations or not, and why?
One of the reasons that I'm endorsed by the Nevada Firearms Coalition and that I have an AQ rating from the NRA is because I don't listen to what the feds tell me. I believe in the Second Amendment. I believe in your right. I believe in your right to absolutely own firearms, to protect yourself and your family, and that starts with the sheriff being willing to stand up to the feds. I was at a breakfast meeting during the primary, and some of you were in this room, were at that meeting, and the question was posed to my opponent, what would you do if the feds came in? Her answer was, there's nothing I can do about it. There are things the sheriff can do about it. The sheriff is the chief law enforcement officer of this county, and federal intervention stops with the sheriff. Thank you.
I have, I will, and I believe in the Second Amendment rights with all my heart. I've been an avid gun owner since I was 21 years old.
We will show you more on tomorrow night's broadcast of the sheriff's debate, and we'll be airing the entire hour-long debate between the two candidates later on this week. You can view the entire debate on KPVM's YouTube channel called KPVM-41 or on our Facebook page called Local Pahrump. Here are some of the other candidates who debated at the VFW Post on Thursday night.
Just real quickly, I'd like to point out that, yeah, you can go watch some of it and you're not going to see anything here because the actual counting of the absentee ballots and things like that always happen in Tonopah. So let's take a 3-hour trip up there.
60 shots, so whatever. I've spoken to about maybe a half a dozen deputies who tell me that it's up to them to remember when to show up to trial. They get subpoenas almost a year away. Oftentimes they do remember to show up, but they don't check the status of the case.
Unfortunately, that is completely incorrect. We don't have officers who show up. What happens is we call every officer. If a case gets settled, every officer is called and told. Now what happens, and it's something we can't necessarily avoid, is they show up and the defendant takes a plea bargain on the day of the preliminary hearing, for example. We don't know they're going to do that until it happens.
Well, just quickly, I can't, I seem to just be called a liar again. And I can tell you that I have, in fact, talked to numerous officers that have told me that. So either they're lying or I'm lying, and I'll tell you that it's not me.
In the civil cases, particularly the cases involving families, which are the areas where most people have been touched by the law, we need to really get CASAs involved, child-appointed special advocates, so that children can be represented. So how they're doing in school, how they do with their brothers and sisters, how they do with their neighbors, how their general health is brought into the decisions, because that's when common sense does come in, is in these family law cases when the kids do need representation. They absolutely cry for it, and that is something that I will advocate and I will perform.
Court-appointed special advocate program that's where citizens get to volunteer and come in and be a representative of the child in court, and you have the court's authority to go out and talk to the teachers, the family members, and then the parents have an attorney and the state has an attorney. The kids don't usually have an attorney. Sometimes they'll be appointed an attorney as a guardian ad litem, but frequently what we use are CASA volunteers who go out and do the investigation and then come in and tell the court and say, here's what my concern is of what's going on right now with this child. And I've listened to them all the time, frequently take their advice and opinions. So if you want to come in and tell a judge what to do, volunteer for CASA.
Well, this Saturday, October 18th, is early voting, and we urge you to find out more about the candidates and watch these debates. You can view all the candidates at the VFW debate on KPVM's YouTube page. That's KPVM-41. We've also uploaded the entire Pahrump Nugget debate on that channel. Once again, YouTube, KPVM-41. More local news after this break.
Today's news is brought to you in part by Dr. George Leeks, Pahrump's optometrist since 1990, offering full-spectrum eye care for children and adults. Call today, 727-8300.
Do you sing or dance? Do you have a talent and are just aching to show your chops on stage? Tomorrow at the Saddle West is an audition for this year's USO show.
This tomorrow, we tried to get these all out last week in the paper and everything, and so I'm hoping that people heard it, and they will come out to Saddle West tomorrow afternoon at 4 o'clock to audition. Whether you sing, dance, play an instrument, have a comedy routine, we'd like to see you come out and audition.
These USO shows are really a lot of fun. A lot of different performers going on, but it's a fundraiser too, right?
It's a fundraiser for our Veterans Food Bank. It's our largest fundraiser that we have each year.
How many years have you been doing this?
This will be our 3rd annual, and it's sponsored by the VFW Ladies Auxiliary.
And so what types of acts are you looking for?
Singing, dancing.
And all in a period time or just?
No, this year it's a variety show, so it could be any type of music. The last 2 years have been from the Vietnam era, and this year we wanted to make it from any, so we made it a variety show.
All ages?
All ages. and families are welcome to come. Children are welcome to perform, and we're just here for the veterans.
When is the USO show going to be held?
The USO show will be Saturday, November 15th at 7 p.m. at Saddle West.
And so for more information on the auditions, if people can't make it, or if they'd like to send in a tape or something, or just ask more information, how can they do that?
They can call me, Linda Wright, at 775-419-7857, or email me at lwright.la.vfw@gmail.com, or Erica Sehnert, SEHNERT.LA.VFW@gmail.com.
And so otherwise they can just show up at Saddle West on Tuesday at 4 o'clock to audition?
Yes, just show up and we'll be there, and should be a good time.
You're going to be in the event center, right?
Yes, we'll be in the event center.
Thanks so much to Bill and Chris and Linda for coming by. Definitely get out to that audition if you can, and the USO show, and the tickets are going to be on sale soon for that, and we'll be giving you more on that in the coming days. Well, the Rotary's $10,000 giveaway extravaganza story will be played on tomorrow night's broadcast, but we know that some of you are on the edge of your seat wanting to know who won that $10,000. Well, we're going to tell you. Optometrist Dr. George Leaks is the winner of the $10,000 for yesterday's giveaway there at Mountain Falls, and we want to congratulate Dr. George Leaks for that, and free glasses all around, I think. Here's Courtney Salmon with Week in Sports.
Week in Sports is brought to you by Wolfenstein Construction. The Pahrump Valley High School football team fought hard in a defensive bout on the road against the Spring Valley Grizzlies, and they unfortunately lost 13-7. Both teams have a strong defense. Spring Valley was just a little bit better. Spring Valley allows on an average only 7 points per game. Similar to the Trojans, Spring Valley finds success on the ground. However, the Trojans have a pretty good rush defense, and that showed Friday night. Spring Valley averaged 22 points per game, and the Trojans held them to only 13. This loss makes the Trojans 2-3 in league and 3-4 overall. They next face rival Faith Lutheran on the road on Friday night. The Trojans are still winless on the road, but are looking to change that. Faith Lutheran is coming off a 31-7 win against Sierra Vista. Faith Lutheran is 3-2 in league. One of those losses came from Cheyenne, who Pahrump defeated 20-12 on October 2nd. PVHS girls volleyball faces Spring Valley at Pahrump Valley High School tomorrow at 6 p.m. The Trojans are currently ranked 4th in league with a record of 3-4. They're looking to snap out of their 2-game losing streak. This will be their second matchup against Spring Valley, and in their first encounter, the Trojans lost 3-0. PVHS girls soccer defeated Mojave 2-0 on Friday, making them 5-3 in league. Their next matchup will be against Clark at Pahrump Valley High School at 3 p.m. tomorrow. Clark happens to be one of the Trojans' 3 losses, edging out the girls 2-1 early in September. PVHS boys soccer lost to Mojave 2-1 on Friday. This makes them 1-7-1 in conference. The boys face Clark on the road tomorrow at 4:30. In their previous matchup, Clark defeated the Trojans 3-2. Remember, if you plan on going to watch any of the local teams, it's $5 for adults and $2 for seniors and students. This has been Week in Sports. I'm Courtney Selman for News 46.
Thanks so much for that, Courtney. We so appreciate her bringing the local sports teams and scores and upcoming games to us. And, of course, that segment airs on Monday and Thursdays. Let's join Angela Miles with today's First Business Brief.
The First Business Brief for Monday, October 13th. I'm Angela Miles. A newly merged Fiat Chrysler rolls shares onto the New York Stock Exchange today. The stock debuts in the U.S. under ticker symbol FCA and also trades in Italy. Dave & Buster's IPO'd Friday. The arcade-themed restaurant coined an 8% rally. McDonald's restaurants are facing a flurry of inspections in Russia. The Chicago Tribune reports 170 inspections were initiated just in August, and 9 locations have been temporarily closed for sanitary reasons. The U.S. and European Union have imposed sanctions on Russia, and the Ebola outbreak is prompting breakouts in a number of stocks. Shares of hazmat suit maker Lakeland Industries are up more than 188% since the first case of Ebola was reported in the U.S., and Alpha Protect, which also makes protective wear, gained 53% Friday. That's the First Business Brief. I'm Angela Miles.
When we come back from this break, we'll have your weather with Noah Began.
News 46 weather is brought to you by your local dairy farmers. Dairy products are very important in maintaining a healthy body.
Hello and welcome back to News 46, both to those of you watching on television and those to you listening on KACP 95.9. Today is Monday, October 13th. Today we had sunny skies with a high of 82 degrees. That's also your average temperature around this time of year. Winds were coming from the east-southeast today at 5 miles per hour with gusts up to 10 miles per hour. The UV index today was 6, which is high. Humidity was at 10% today. Sunrise was at 6:49 this morning, and the record high in 1992 was 95 degrees. Well, tonight we'll have clear skies with a low of 54 degrees. Your average temperature around this time of year is 60 degrees. Winds will be coming from the east at 3 miles per hour with gusts up to 4 miles per hour, so we'll have some pretty low winds there. Humidity will be at 18%. Sunset will be at 6:10 p.m. and the record low in 1946 was 41 degrees. Well, tomorrow we'll have sunny skies with a high of 88 degrees and a low of 60 degrees. Winds will be coming from the south at 7 miles per hour with gusts up to 13 miles per hour. Humidity will be at 12%. Sunrise will be at 6:50 a.m. and the UV index will be 6, which is high. For our 7-day forecast, we'll start off with sunny skies tomorrow, but some clouds will be rolling in around Wednesday, and they'll be sticking around for a while until about Sunday. Your high temperatures will be starting off in the high 80s. They'll be going down into the low 80s around our cloudy weather there, and then they'll be going back up into the mid 80s around early next week. Your low temperatures will be looking at a similar pattern, starting off in the low 60s, going down into the mid 50s around our cloudy weather, and then working their way up into the high 50s again around next Monday.
Wow, it just seemed like the temperatures just went up, and it looks like they're going back down. Thanks so much for that, Noah. We do want to say hello to our listeners out there on 95.9 KACE, our country radio station. And if you want to find out more about KPVM-TV, all you need to do is give us a call, 727-9400, and you can call us about advertising, about how to hook up on our 4 digital channels. That's 46.1, 2, 3, and 4. And yes, if you have DirecTV and Dish Network, you can get our channels on your television. It's really simple. All you need to do is give us a call at 727-9400. You can even call Rod's TV if you want to at 727-9395, and he'll hook you up. You just need to rescan your televisions and shut off your box. It's almost as simple as that. If you have another issue, give us a call at the station. Once again, 727-9400. That's going to do it for this edition of News 46. From everyone up here at KPVM-TV and all you out there on KA's 95.9 FM, we wish you a great night. We'll see you back here tomorrow.